Why do I love Sansui amps so much? What's the sound? And what are the good ones? Because there's an awful lot of Sansui amps about. They're not all in the same category. So I'm going to tell you all as much as I know about the sound and the history of Sansui. And there are some reasons why I think it sounds so good. Okay, so Sansui as a company started 1944. Start again. Kosaku Kikuchi, this man, founded this company. They made transformers. So you'll always see the transformers in Sansui. You'll have Sansui on them. Maybe that's what's going on. The sound now. What you have here is all transistor amplifiers. But Sansui started making valve amplifiers. They were making valve amplifiers in the 60s. I actually just looked on eBay just now, and there's a Sansui 111 going for £2,000, valve amp, black-faced. What happened was they moved into the world of transistors. But they managed, and I feel like it's unique what they did. They managed, certainly with the early ones, to make them sound valvey in the top end and have a really good amount of impact. In fact, be exceptional in the bass. So it's like a great combination of valves and transistors, because valves, historically are bass light. But they would mix the two. And, my guess is that this man, Kosaku Kikuchi, well, I feel like there was just a lot of love going into these amplifiers. They were listening to these amplifiers and they had just a great history and great transformers. So let's have a look at these amps and I'll tell you which ones sound best. I'll try to give you the picture of, which ones to go for, which is doable, but there's a hell of a lot of Sansui amplifiers out there and receivers. All the amplifiers start with an AU prefix. It's an AU everything. So I can't say this range, that range. Almost all of the amps will be AU. But anyway, let's have a look. Let's start at the top. That thing at the top, the AU 101, that's the oldest one here. Frankly, this is the golden period. If I had to say anything to you to clarify the situation of Sansui and where is the best amplifiers, try and find out the age of the amp, yes? Which I always look up Hi-Fi Engine on the internet. There's a website called Hi-Fi Engine, and they'll have the details of almost every bit of hi-fi kit. So that Sansui here, I think 72, 73. Black face amplifiers. Those are the ones with beautiful, spacious, articulated mid-range voices. Female voices sound so real, and big, powerful, textured bass. I mean, just great. Just great. So, when I see this Sansui, or I was listening to it the other day, I was thinking to myself, why don't they just make this amplifier again? Could you please not make it exactly as, just replicate it, and it will be such a winner. And even if it was, if they made that new today, it's only 12 watts a channel, but that's like 25 watts, if you don't know. But, I'd happily pay 500 quid for it, for sure, It's that good. It's really good. It could be more. But yeah, I don't know. If I think about the cars in 1972, they were absolutely terrible. Had to pull the clutch and everyone was revving them. I mean, I couldn't even drive at that point, but, the cars were terrible. The cars have made fantastic progress. Somehow or other, information seems to get lost in the hi-fi world. It seems to just drop out and, it just seems to vanish and disappear. They don't hang on to knowledge. Okay, let's go through all these amps and I'll try and give you more of the picture. So what do we have here? This is a much later Sansui, AU-G11X2. This is like 1980, 82 even, something like that. Look, that's not the great Sansui. That's not fun, that's not the great stuff. I mean, the truth be told, it's like something was really good in the early 70s and it dwindled and went patchy. There are good things. There are definitely good things into the later 70s and the 80s and the 90s even. But it starts getting patchy. All that earlier stuff, 73, 74 backwards, it's like that had the love went into it. Really, that's the impression I get. So this one here, it's okay. It's not as good as that. This will be more powerful. This actually got a fuse blown, but I never play this. It's just not very remarkable. That is superior. That would be better than it. That would be better than it. That would be better. They'll be better, okay? Okay, that Sansui 331 receiver, that's actually 1975. Now it's good, but it doesn't have the valviness of this AU101. This is a great articulate, I don't want to say, I'm going to say the word workhorse, but it's probably not right, but it's good. It hasn't got the valve magic of the 101. Then we've got this AU317. Now this is later. This range is later 70s, 78, 79. Now that one is a nice amp and I really love it. Not every amp in this range, and they went up to, I've actually got one over there. What is it? 719. The sort of quality, I tell you what seems to happen. This old Sansui has got better bass. The earlier Sansuis have got more grip and texture in the bass. And as time went on, well, certainly there, and that the AU719, the big brother of that, and I suppose this to a degree, the bass starts getting a bit fatter and a bit softer. It's still superior bass to what most people are doing, but the early stuff really has grip and texture. The bass landscape. You can see it, you can follow it. Just great. I mean, I love this amp, but I can't say if that 101 was more powerful, I'd prefer that. This is only 12 watts. This is 50. I mean, this is a good, solid, everything good. Every time I put that amp on, I always go, oh, this amp sounds great. This is just great sounding. It never disappoints. It always delivers whatever speakers I put on. I've claimed that's my favorite amp at points, but I've got to say, sometimes my favorite amp changes from week to week, but that is a great amp. Yeah, and it's more powerful. That Sansui 881, that's, same range as this. Massive amount of bass, actually. I've got to say, talking of bass, this has got enormous bass, goes down really low. It's powerful. This is 60 watts, which is like 120 in today's money because of the way they measured things. So that is really powerful, really beefy amp. I mean, glorious, detailed, huge sound stage. But there's a purity about that 331 that actually I prefer. If you don't need loud volumes and you're only on small speakers, I would actually have this 331 because the mid-range is so pure in it. So yeah, so the general Sansui sound, pre-74, it's fantastic. It goes on, it gets patchy. Sort of by the 90s, I would say it's the same as anyone. I wouldn't really give it any special categorization. Want to say also, talking about speakers, Sansui speakers, I'm not putting them in the same category as Sansui amplification. I mean, they had these multiple driver speakers, big bass drivers, maybe 15-inch, you know, 2 mid-range, 2 tweeters. They'll give you a huge sound, but these speakers they're not serious audiophile stuff. They're just not, you know. And I don't know why Sansui, you know, they didn't start making speakers. They started in the world of amplifiers. Generally speaking, the Japanese didn't make great speakers at all. Or, you know, they didn't make hi-fi speakers most of the time. There's a few exceptions here and there in the 70s and the 80s, but it was just not, they didn't have the history of it. So I wouldn't put the Sansui speakers in the same world, just to say that. I mean, there are so many amps, it's hard to get your head round, but check out, if you want to check it out, check out Hi-Fi Engine, and you'll just see, it will give you the age of each, when that unit came out. And that is a great way. Early amplifiers, most times blackface, 999, is it 6700? There's, you know, oh my God, I'm going to say there's like 50, 60 different amps. So I can't kind of articulate it all for you. But generally a beautiful sound. Compared to other vintage, I think it's just completely superior. And I mean Japanese vintage there. But just to give you some more context, if I was to compare, say, this one and this one to, you know, classic British stuff like Quad or Sugden, you'd probably say the Quad and the Sugden are more accurate. They're more like, you know, I don't know, recording studio kind of standard. It's slightly stylized. You've got to say that in the most lovely and accurate way that everyone will enjoy. But the sounds from, say, that one in particular, you know, it has that valve space in the middle. But the bass, generally, if I was to say what is special about Sansui, I would say sweet top end and grippy, interesting bass that you can really follow and enjoy. So, I mean, I've got twice as many Sansuis as I'm showing you now, because I love them. And if I see them going cheap, I have to buy them. Okay, I think that's it. So loads more videos on my channel. You probably find me reviewing all kinds of different the whole range of these and this one on the rest of my channel. Okay, that's it. Thanks. Bye for now.